100 pre-awards function. So may I request you all to please take seats, and I apologize for this small delay in starting. There's still awaiting people, but I thought we should get started. People can join us. So first of all, thank you very much for being here. We have people here who have come all the way from Chandigarh, Ahmedabad, and quite far away places. So thank you very much, and for your support for being here. A lot of you have come, I know, from various ends of the NCR. So that is also a challenge today. So thank you. So very quickly, just for to bring everybody on the same page, all of you have, of course, applied for the next 100. The process started in June with the applications, and then you all completed the applications, and after doing the applications you took the test. So I just want to quickly ask, how many people actually saw the test reports? Okay, good. So do you think it was useful? Yeah. Yes. You found it useful, that's great. So so that just shows that we got good people here who pay close attention to all this stuff. So yeah, just to let you know, for people who don't know, the tests were conducted by a company that is headquartered in Paris. And this is an international test. There are very few such tests available around the world. And so those reports, as you go along, you will find them very useful. And as our jury members will also tell you, they have looked at these reports over the years, and they have found it quite closely matching the capabilities of the people. So the tests are quite indicative of your own personal strengths, and you can use some of the areas that have been pointed out to improve your, use it for development for your own uses. And of course, subsequent to the tests, we had the interviews. So some of you, all of you went through interviews with 2 different jury members independently. They would have asked you a lot of questions, and they might have even asked you a lot of technical questions. But I think, as the jury members themselves will tell you, the objective of asking the technical questions was not to probe how deep your knowledge is, but as one jury member put it, to see how well you can relate the technology to the business. And say really, because that is one of the attributes of a CIO, not just to know technology, but to also make it useful for the organization. And of course, subsequent to that, we have developed a model which takes into account your experience, your qualifications, how you did on the tests, how you performed on the interviews, and then we generate a rank list. And the list is then shown to the jury, so obviously everybody here has been approved by both jury members who have interviewed him. In addition, everybody here has been endorsed by his superior. If you recall, we had asked you to provide us with the contacts of your superior, your reporting boss, as well as 2 referees who should not be your colleagues or should not be your juniors. And we have reached out to them, and they have actually given very good reports. And that's why, so you may not know it, you may think your boss doesn't like you, but if you are here, that means your boss likes you very much. Otherwise, it is not possible for you to be here. I can assure you that much. And we have informed all your bosses that you have been selected for the awards, and I think they must have communicated to you. If they have not, they will. If they have not, they have managed, because I know it has been a holiday week, so everybody might not have seen their emails. So in case if somebody's bosses has not got the notification, please let us know. We can resend it, or we can send it to another mail ID, so that we make sure that they know. And if you would like us to send those messages to anybody else in your organization, perhaps in HR, or perhaps to the chairman or the MD, we are happy to do so. Just let us know. Okay. And so really, you are all now a part of the what I would call the Elite Next 100 Club. So with this year, we will have 400 people. This is the 4th year these awards have been running, and so you will have so today, of course, you have the opportunity to meet everybody who is in the NCR, plus a few other people who have traveled down. But the culmination of this process will be an actual awards ceremony that will take place in Pune on 14th of December, and we will send you all we will be giving you today official invitations to come to that event. and we will take care of all the logistics of taking you to Pune and bringing you back. Okay? All of you might have to block your calendars for 14 and 15 December. So before you all say, you know, why on a weekend? It's deliberately on a weekend. So that you don't have to take time off from work. Okay? So we all know you are very hardworking, but that is one weekend also you will have to work. So with that, let me start today's very brief program. We'll have a short talk by Mr. Ravinder Singh. He's director with Juniper Networks, and he'll be talking a bit about leadership and issues around leadership, and how Juniper is also doing leadership in its area of specialization. And which will be after which I'll invite our jury members. We have today with us Mr. S.C. Mittal. He is the Chief Technology Officer and CIO for IFCO Limited. He has been a part of the Next 100 jury ever since its inception. He has close to 4 decades of experience in IT, and I'll ask him to share with you some of his views about the Next 100, the process, and what expectations from CIOs will be from the organization. We also have with us Mr. S.P. Arya. Mr. Arya is the CIO for Amtech Group, and he is also a very respected senior IT leader, and he also has been involved in a lot of activities involving IT managers and IT heads in the northern region for a number of years. Mr. Arya has also been with us right since the first year when we started this awards, and I'll also ask him to share his viewpoints about the Next 100 process, what he thinks will be expected from CIOs, and how did this year's process go. So without further ado, I'd like to request Mr. Ravinder Singh to please take the stage.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, thank you, Girish, for the introduction. And heartiest welcome to all of you. And today's talk is primarily I've ensured that it's a very light, talk around technology, around leadership, around relationships, and how in the last 20 years of my career, I've seen things evolving, on the side of leadership, innovation, and the execution part of it. And let me congratulate each one of you in reaching here on this milestone of your life. And I'm sure going forward, you'll achieve many more milestones with this platform in place. And it's an excellent platform where this collaboration between the industry, and the customers, and the people who are, rising in their respective organizations can happen like this. So on that note, let me kickstart. Essentially, these 3 pillars are, the focus of this presentation. How the leadership is defined, the way things have evolved, and innovation plays a part in that. And how the latest trends we are seeing in the presently and going forward in the next 2 to 3 years. So, path to success, which is what we are celebrating today, essentially depends in the organization, as we know, at how well we are able to impact, the profit and the revenue, essentially, directly or indirectly. How a person is able to contribute in this thing decides the path to success and the speed of the success and which path is taken. Essentially, these are the 2 bottom lines which we are seeing. And these 2 bottom lines clearly is a function of, as we know, is a strategy, right? What strategy we take. And the strategy is again a function of what innovation we have. Are we a new to play, or are we a player with a differentiate, or are we something a disruptive play, which clearly changes the whole ballgame. Then second thing is structure, and structure is a function of relationship as well. What structure we form in the organization, and that structure categorization, experts, journalists, how exactly that structure is formed. That also clearly impacts the revenue profitability. And finally, it's about execution, wherein the leadership comes and plays a role. And so these 3 clearly impacts, directly on the profitability in the revenue part. And innovation, relationship, and leadership is what we are talking about today. We have seen many times that in the short term, there are many, spikes of success. And they come, they stay for some time and go away. Why is that so? So what is the way of, making sure that success is lasting and resulting into the happiness, for the people, for the overall organization? So we've seen that satisfaction with the work emerge as a clear indicator that whether success will be a lasting thing or it's a short-term success. This is a clear thing. If the people are happy, the team is happy, and they are following their passion, to an extent. And if the leadership is able to ensure that, then the overall success will be quite lasting. Second point, which is the source of the lasting success, is the relationships. The relationships that, as on a platform that the organization is able to build among the employees, among the peers, among the partners, among the suppliers, anywhere. So how an organization enables these relationships, personal, professional, both, right, the boundary thing. So these two are, in life as we see as well, happiness is linked to primarily these two. How satisfied we are in the work that we do, and how meaningful our relationships are, and the organization is no different. Coming to the innovation part, what is an innovation and who is responsible for it? This is the question which, innovation is something which is most used in a news world everywhere. And everybody tries to define the innovation in a way which suits their organization or the person. But there are views on innovation which are really funny when you look back in the history. Right? And there is no such thing as too much innovation. Innovation is an innovation. It's always less. Right? Still, there were people in the history, and when you read them, these people are no small people. These are 4 quotes that we picked up from the leaders of that industry. Like Charles Duell in 1899 said that everything that can be invented has been invented. Right? Imagine what he said at that time. And that was from the US Patent Office. Then Lord Kelvin, 1895, the president of the Royal Society, the heavier than air flying machines are impossible. Right? Another one, who wants to hear actors talk? By none other than Harry M. Walton. In 1927. Then you say there could never be more than 1 million cars because of their high cost and the shortage of capable shoppers. This is by Gottlieb Daimler, 1830. So essentially these are all leaders, they were successful, truly successful, they have seen the world at that time. Still they made the statement. So it is not a matter of intellect, it is not a matter of maturity, it is a matter of they were businessmen. It is a matter of somewhere the limiting the psyche, limiting the potential overall, and thinking that, okay, enough has been done, nothing more can be done. So, essentially the message here that we have realized overall, that there is never too much innovation, and whatever has happened, there is 100 times more is possible, and people will be doing that. For a given successful concept, there are 10 or 50 companies at the start of working to make that concept fail. So people, that's the reason out of 100 startups, 10 succeeds, for example. So everybody is working to change the world, and there are people, companies, and these days the rate of innovation is much faster, than before. On relationship side, essentially this is about lives. This is about people. People buy from you. It is not about product. It is not company. It is not about anything else. People buy from people. People work for people. It is not about a platform. Finally, we realize that wherever we have a trust, we are comfortable, we have a good environment, we go and work together and give our best. And people do business with people. Right? This slide is more for us, but it applies to everybody. Essentially, wherever we go, wherever we strike a deal, how well we are able to build a trust, how well we are able to build a meaningful relationship with understanding our customers, all the partners. That is directly proportional to how well we deliver the final experience. So if you are able to genuinely, go out of the way and deliver what the customer is looking at, we are able to build a meaningful relationship as we try to train our team. Right? And it is everywhere. The relationship between in the organization itself. Finally, in the longer run, delivers much more than when we are working only with a the cold mindsets or the cold relationships. Essence of leadership, which basically takes the organization or the whole concept further, is about vision. Somebody should know, the leader should know that where the entire thing is going. Especially in today's world, where the future is uncertain, where anything can happen, which can disrupt the model, and where you're not able to convince yourself that what new is coming will surely succeed. Most of the organizations fail because whatever new comes up, they don't accept it. They said this will not happen. Say IP telephony, for example. I remember when it came up. None of the existing organizations, like you can see the Lucent at that time, or Nortel, or you name it, none of them could accept. I was at Nortel that IP telephony can deliver what an ATM is delivering, for example. An ATM for a sustain IP will never be the mainstream. And today where we are. So it is about the change. So vision is not a fixed vision. It evolves. People adapt. So that flexibility, how well a person has a relationship that he is able to get true feedback from the team. How well a person is connected to really use his team to get the right wisdom. Because it is no more about isolation. We read books and then get the vision. It is about how well we are able to triangulate or make a sweet spot after discussion with employees, the customers, the partners, the competition, how the relationships are so that the person is able to form the vision. And the vision updates every year, every multiple years. It's about the trust. It's about the trust in the team. It's about the trust in the customers. It's about the trust. See, finally, everybody is working hard today to build a brand of trust in life. When somebody thinks why they show security is so high, because the trust goes down after a while. You can easily do a transaction with Apple, and whenever you go to unknown site, you can't do that. The trust thing. So a brand, invests huge amount of dollars to build a trust, and same is true for leader. Finally, organizations succeed when the leader people have trust in the leadership, and in times of crisis, especially when the trust is there, then only the leader is able to lead the team. Otherwise, at that time, people don't know whether they're talking to a face or they're talking to a person. Right? And the moral authority about ethics, about how well the business is done, the values of the business. So these things clearly, it is seen again and again that while the short-term blips can be there, but sustained success cannot happen, or a person or a team cannot lead the organization unless these three things are there. And now coming to the trends part of it, a lot of technology, innovation is happening around. But what I try to capture here is which has made the maximum impact in the real life scenario. Right, the impact can be as big as senior governments. Like when the social networking, what we say today, is a business inherent part of any business model. Initially, as we all know, it began with the casual, social networks among the people. Finally, slowly it entered the business. But as far as society is concerned, we have seen the impact of social networking can be as big as impacting the revolution, which can also change the government. Every government takes social networking extremely seriously. Google's latest report is clear that 2014 election can be impacted by internet, can be impacted by social networking in a huge way. There's a huge report on that. And every leader today is conscious about how well we should use the social network in our country as well. In Obama, we have seen how we use social network to create a brand, essentially. Then the business models. Interesting. All these names, what you see here, are huge industries, and the rise also has been much faster. Google has crossed $1,000 share, right, which is unprecedented. And if you really pay attention, you see that the largest companies, right, are all free to the people. The business model is such that they come free to the end user. Nobody pays any money. Still, they are multi-billion-dollar industries, right? So the whole concept of thinking about creation of a business and making money, that has changed. And so the limitation. So it's like how the money is earned, how the profit is earned, how the revenue should be increased. That has multiple domains. All the existing industries are getting IT enabled, and they're trying to imbibe to seeing all these models, and it's a shocking, to the person who has a brick and mortar mentality. We come from the IT industry, so we take it for granted. Yeah, these are fine, so they have concept and it succeeded. It's okay. Right? But talk to a guy, who has spent his life into brick and mortar, and then he is not able to understand what's going on, right, at level. So, but it is clear that every industry, will have an impact, and the model will change. How and when, this is up to the leaders, but clearly there is no limit in terms of creating an innovation or doing an innovation in taking the products to the consumer or in the B2B model. Then there is a whole, world of apps. You talk about the boundaries of the personal and the professional, apps are merging. We're not sure where to draw the boundary. Initially, it was very clear, you have a single Oracle and SharePoint, SaaS kind of an application, and there was a strong line in the middle separating the personal apps and the professional apps. Now, things like LinkedIn, for example, things like Evernote, for example, things like iBooks, for example, things like iTunes U, for example, all these applications, FaceTime, for example, all these applications are as effectively used for the professional purpose, especially if you go to the SOHO industry, right? These are the ones that employees are encouraged to use it as freely as possible. So the message here is clearly, and it is a report which we are quoting here, the 42% increased productivity, 39% reduced paperwork, and 37% increased revenue. Is kind of on the analysis they found out that apps makes an impact in automating certain part of it. If you remove the app completely, then the cost of doing business increases. So the message here is that these devices are inherent part of the force, and adaptability of the mobile workforce is also in every industry. And every industry today is trying to create a mobile business model to make sure they remain competitive. See, there's also a pressure to remain competitive, because there's a fear in the leader that my competition can adopt this, and how will it change the model? So that psyche is driving every CIO and the CEO to discuss and really find a model which is relevant to that particular vertical. And so this is a discussion which is everywhere it is happening, and even if for the sake of it, I've seen the organization going for it and implementing the model, and to see that we will use it as a pilot and then see what happens. And if the employees are happy, they get the benefit, we might expand it. Okay. So as an experiment, for sure, everybody is doing that. And finding out the right way to do it. See, today the issue is it has to be done, but what is the right way? Theoretical models are also made, but they're trying to implement all the basic stuff to start with. But this is going to stay and this is going to increase it. Then collaboration. Collaboration, as we discussed, that one is the social network, second is the collaboration among the employees. And more than employees, collaboration between the partners and the employees, and collaboration with the distributors, and then further with the users. Involving a user into the decision making, into the influencing cycle of creating a product or creating an experience. We have seen that how gone are the days where a company used to create a product, in isolation and come. Maybe some exception like Apple can always be there, but in general, those days are not there where you create a product in isolation and come back and tell the user that this is the product, please buy. Today, it is more on involving the user while creating the product from the beginning. In the process, one, user will be part of it, and second, the acceptability is much more. And the initial adoption, which is so critical for any success, becomes very easy. So, apart from the employee collaborating tools, the involvement of the external or the partners, who work in the business B2B, that is making an impact, in creating a smooth rollout of a new concept, especially. This is another interesting thing that you must be reading and talking about, the Internet of Things. Essentially, as you all know, Mr. Bird, that whatever can be connected, will be connected. And, or in other words, also whatever can be made as software will become software, right? Whatever can't be, it will remain, but whatever can be, car can be software, right? But whatever inside the car can become software, it will replace the hardware, for sure. And we are hearing about the wearable technology. The watches are coming in, and the flexible screen phones are coming out. The sensors are coming out. The tomorrow's world is essentially about digitization, essentially about everything giving a feedback about the status, about what is going on, whether it's as simple as a chair, for example, as simple as a room, the sensors everywhere to get to know the current status of that particular machine or department. So, or a human being for that matter. Doctors today, we go after symptom arises. So human beings can have sensors, which basically gives an online status to the doctor, what is the status, and you define a threshold on whatever level you want, so that proactively, when the threshold increases, you go for a preventive maintenance kind of thing. So those world, we are entering. And you can see the picture showing the sensors in most of the places. It's not unhealthy sensors apparently. So the medical science will take a completely new leap, right? As with the home technologies, as with the organization, the next level of adoption, wherein basically it's awareness about what's going on in the various places. So nothing would be kind of a black spot. It is a matter of what you want to do with the information, that is clear. But you will be aware about what you want to be aware about at any level. And this is the explosion of the information, explosion of the connectivity. That is what we see in the next 3 to 5 years. What has driven the revolution today in technology is two things: smartphone plus video. So far, when the data was increasing, still there was some sanity to the increase and to the increase of traffic. The video has changed the ballgame completely. If you really see the architecture impact on the service providers, is primarily because of video. And the user clearly feels the quality of a network by using the video. In the data, the quality was not felt somehow. Quality, if mail is coming, the mail can come. You don't get to know the real quality of the network. But when you run a video, real-time video, you can clearly see that. And the explosion of the amount of smartphones, today, as we can see that everybody wants to buy a smartphone. Leave aside the the cream, leave aside the middle, leave aside the workers. Even as a driver, for example, I remember I was giving something to my driver to buy a phone, and he said, "Sir," or I was buying a Nokia phone for him, $1,000 rupees phone. The guy said, "Sir, give me 1,000 rupees. I'll put 4,000 from my side, and I'll buy a smartphone. I'll not buy this phone at all." He took a loan of 3,000 from somebody, and then he bought that smartphone. So I realized the psyche has become that everybody wants to buy a smartphone. I was thinking, if he can do like this, anybody will do like this. And then first thing he does is that he says, in 100 rupees I will take a net connection for sure. I'll use Facebook, I'll use WhatsApp, right? So the net connection comes in every phone, the smartphone comes in, and then I go to YouTube and do so many things. So this is the revolution, clearly. So what is, it has made an impact that when everybody is kind of a part of it, organization and a policy of using a mobile device, because security was very important. Security was close to the heart, rightly so. So they were giving a device like BlackBerry or any phone which is proprietary locked for the organization use, where you cannot load any other application. That scenario is changed, where employees are getting the phones and the tablets, and organization is getting open to adapt that and really have a policy or building a policy wherein the same device can be used for any kinds of applications and still secure for business use. Another, this is interesting that from 2000 till 2008 or 11, there was, as I said, the reason the traffic was predictable because interaction was mainly between the user and the machines. Right? There were architectures that user used to, it was distributed kind of architecture. Today what has happened, because of virtualization, the traffic between the machines has really gone up. Because of cloud coming in so fast, the virtual machine concept implemented so fast, there is a huge amount of traffic between machine to machine traffic. And that has again changed the architectures at the data center level. The formation of cloud is on a different concept compared to where we build the campus or where we build the NOCs earlier. So that surge you have seen how it is happening, and it will go further. They're saying that somebody said, I like that. whatever goes up, it has to come down. It's a law of nature. So I think the law of nature is getting defied here. That the increase of traffic data, will never come down. It will keep growing exponentially ever, because the people, because the usage, because of various kinds of traffic, various kinds of new applications. So that's going to increase more and more. This is what we see. Today there's an information village. The moment you have the entire organization or the surroundings digitized, what essentially happens is that you get data from everywhere. Every machine, every infrastructure will give you data. Right? Now, what do you do with the data? That is the reason this becomes so important, that ability of an organization to know what is important for them and really drill down deeper to find out the relevant information and create a business model around that. So, when data deluge happens, it is very, very important, the vision part, where we are going. When we know where we are going, we are able to know what are the factors which can impact the risk part of it, and how do we define the threshold in various things to really manage the entire business in this field. So data analytics will surely become part of any strategy or any implementation for organization which really cares about what's going on. If the organization does not do it, the competition will do that. Along with that, what is also growing is the security threats. Right? When the apps comes in, especially on the freeware kind of OS, we've seen the percentage increase in the malware on the Android. This is a risk area. Most of the smartphones are based on the Android. So while we talk about that, this is about general what essentially is going on in terms of building clouds, what the customers are doing. It is all about economics and agility. Somewhere a balance of that, how exactly the resource pooling happens, how the clouds happen. It varies from organization to organization. But essentially it's about agility and how fast I can roll out the thing which I care about. Especially when the competition and the business models are changing so fast. Ability for an organization to experiment, in a manner that they can see, if I implement this, how exactly the things will happen. So that is important. So what essential message is that since the focus is on apps, focus is on software, focus is on business, network is becoming the foundation of the entire cloud. Because on this, it's like a plumbing. We don't really see that, but it is the most important thing in the long run. And the environment, since more people, more devices, and again more people, more devices, and the more data, this entire thing is creating a little bit of complexity in terms of managing it. And talking about the innovation or the leadership that Juniper has taken in the last couple of years, what we talked about, Pradeep Sundar 2 years back, is about setting the agenda about the next decade. Right? When he began Juniper, it was all about the service providers, who are building big fat routers and having a vision of internet in a particular way. So let me just this was fine. So it began somewhere in 1996, and the company became public in 1999. And this was with the M series router, and this router was a core router in the service provider network. And this router changed the whole ballgame. Imagine the core network of service provider is so critical that nobody will change it unless there are genuine reasons for kind of moving. So Juniper became too successful with the M series, and then the core for the terabit routers, the T series came in. And in the 2004, the security adoption happened. When Juniper acquired NetStream, which was a number one company at that time. And then NetStream was converted into Junos software, and the entire portfolio of Juniper further, be it switching, routing, or the SSL, it's all based on Junos. So that integration happened. And then in 2008, 2009, Junos became open. In the sense that the applications can be built on Junos today, the APIs can be opened, and third-party softwares, what can be built. The SDN what we talk about, for Juniper interview began in 2010, when Juniper opened the whole OS. And the reason for that is, we have our own silicon, we have own Junos, which runs in all the devices. And so it's a purposeful built software and a hardware. It is not a generic purpose. And Pradeep was clear from the day one that what we are addressing, this is the core of the any network, and that is the reason Juniper has been hugely successful in the service provider network. And then the same DNA came into the enterprise networks, and today almost top 100 Fortune companies they all run Juniper, be it security or be it somewhere in the network which is campus or which is man, right? Then the second innovation what Juniper did last year is about the data center, which is a cloud, where I was mentioning about the machine-to-machine traffic. So this traffic is rising so exponentially that there's certain kind of an architecture which requires a single hub operations only. That is what we designed. Up till now, even the data centers had a three-tier architecture. So Juniper introduced one tier, one-to-one architecture, interaction between the servers, machine, storage, and security everywhere. So just to introduce a delay and having the lowest possible latency on the network. Then on the security side, Juniper has introduced a new concept which is about, in addition to whatever the firewalls, whatever IPS, IDS that we talk about, that already we do. This is the new thing. This is innovation which is simulating the real world scenario. We have seen the wars. If you see the history, the security is kind of seen as a way of defending, way of deceiving, and way of attacking. Right? So again, what we are saying is that the deceiving is an extremely important part of being secure. Why we are saying when you say a hacker mindset is no different from an attacker mindset. Right? And when the world is getting more and more automated, the focus is clearly on attacker things. Now, as like the real war, we have seen that people have won the war or won the battles by deceiving a particular, like the tank is shown here. These are all rubber tanks. In the World War, the way these tanks were used to really, kind of confuse the enemies and really won multiple battles on the basis. India-China war, we have seen how they were deceived in the night by using the animals and lanterns, and this is about the World War scenario. So there are many examples when we read the war history of deception, right? Because this engages the enemy and it enables the wastage of resources from their side, and in that time you can attack at the area which you want. And so what essentially is happening here is we are creating a scenario wherein the attacker, when it comes to the organization website, what happens is that he is looking for some weakness in the website. So what we do, we create some weaknesses, so that the hacker is attracted to there. And the moment he plays on, any normal user will not go to that level of attacking the weakness. We go to the site, do our job, and come back. Hacker will go there. The moment the hacker or somebody is playing with those fields, this solution engages the hacker there and gives him more field, more responsibility. And the psyche of a hacker is that he doesn't like to waste time. You want to see a progress happening, every time, when he's working on the machine. So this solution takes in, and while we are engaging the hacker, we are making a profile of a hacker. How exactly which machine he uses, what is the configuration of the machine, what is the browser version, what is the software, what all is there. And there are some 200 plus parameters per user, right, which is where the hacker is profiled. So the moment he is there in the system for some time, because these guys takes time, and we start creating a profile of so many hackers. And slowly, one moment he realizes that he's wasting his time, typically they go away, they don't come. But in the meantime, the organization is able to create a hacker profile. And over the period of time, right, you're able to create a healthy profile. And when the matching is done, you come to know, and you share that among the people. You come to know that who is coming to the site. And so slowly and slowly, the way the police works, the way the intelligence works, in exactly a similar way, these things are happening now in the IT world. And knowing what kind of people are coming to your site, you can also build a security solution on a real-time basis. Because whatever investment happens, on security, nothing is foolproof. You all know that, right? It is essential to have a solution or system which engages on the real-time basis the attackers and try to see and give awareness to the administrators that this is the way the site is being attacked. So that really helps in deciding the architecture of security and safeguarding some critical piece of information. Another factor on the in-depth that we are able to go on how exactly the network is being used, which is about what user is doing, what an application is doing, what a user device is doing, which location is it coming from. You've seen the way you log on when you travel to foreign country and log on to your Google or device on your website. It sends a mail that you have been logged on from a new PC or logged on from a new site, and then if that is genuine, please say yes or do something like that. So these are all the parameters where the tracking of the user, how exactly you are using your systems for long, that is being profiled, and certain thresholds are defining the system. That is safeguarding it. And here, so far, we know we have secured the domains by using firewall and IPS and all. In the world of virtualization, the traffic flow is multiple, right? Between the servers, between the data centers, between the user and the server, and the multiple servers. Right? So how do we secure that? How do we apply the security of a standard firewall or an IPS in the world of virtualization? That is also critical. Taking care of there are no dark zones which are omitted. It's important. So it's about entire end-to-end secure communication wherever the flows are happening in the network. BYOD, I'm very familiar thing wherein an automation and ease of adoption of mobile device, which is a personal device, so that the corporation is fully secure when the device is being used for personal and professional use. It's as simple as that. There are standard solutions for this, and this has been in the market for a long time, and various adoptions have happened across the organization. In the end, about various customers, although Juniper has been there for long, but these are some of the very select, very large kind of deals to the tune of $1 million plus that they included. And like India Post was one of the largest deal in enterprise, $15 to $20 million one shot. And there are all these brand names that they have invested with Juniper on the security, the brand, and the campus. This is about the world where almost, as I said, the top 100 they have invested with Juniper. Extensively, people like Google, data centers, and security both service providers, and across the verticals, you will find people using Juniper. So essentially, this is about all that. I thought today is a good moment in the platform where let me share the overall perspective about the leadership and the trends which we see today. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Ruben. Did anybody have any questions, about what he presented today? He's happy to take any questions if anybody has. No questions. So the only thing is he was a wonderful speaker and you understood everything, or you understood nothing. Which one is it? Okay, I'm sure he was very lucid and you all understood everything. So thank you so much for listening. It was a wonderful talk and we all enjoyed it. People who are sitting in the back, you can come in the front. You don't need to sit in the back. Yeah, please move up. I'm sure you are all being very polite while Ravindra was talking, so it's at the back. So thank you so much. I think some of the people have joined us a bit later. And so I'd also like to introduce at this point Mr. Vijay Sethi. Sir, please put up your hand, Mr. Vijay Sethi. He is Vice President Information Systems and CIO for Hero MotoCorp, also one of our jury members. He's been associated with the Next 100 program right from its inception. And so thank you very much, sir, for being here this evening. We all look forward to having some of your views shortly, but I'll let you catch your breath since you just walked in. So I'd now like to request Mr. S.C. Mittal to please come on the stage and so share some thoughts on why he's been associated with the Next 100 awards process as a jury member. What were his views about the past winners and the people they've interviewed this year, and what's his advice for people like you who are preparing to take on the CIO role? So may I request Mr. Mittal, please come up.
evening, friends. Mr. Girdhar and all of you are welcome to join the elite group of next CIOs. The question why I was associated or I am associated with this activity. I am associated with this activity since its inception. It's about more than 3 years back. Why? My personal interest, side by side responsibilities. Because the age when I have come to IT is more than 40 years now. I am working with IT. Okay, and I have started my career at that stage where that time there was no digital computerization. So it was even prior to that. And I have seen all the developments during this time. And I feel that I could equip myself starting from that age, coming to this age of quite advanced things. And even whatsoever development is taking place, probably it is beyond imagination. We cannot think of what is going to be the next. So, feeling is that in this complex situation, IT is really complex, and for one person, understanding each and everything is becoming a challenge. The days of IT heads 40 years back or 30 years back were quite easy, but the time today where we are, it is very difficult, very complex. So my personal interest that everybody I feel is a learner in this field. I am also learning from my subordinates, from my colleagues, even from young pass-outs. At the same time, nothing can replace the experience. The business rules, the business processes, the business designs, they are not going to change much. Technology may change, but the ground working is not going to change. And that's why same time you have to really mentor, you have got a social responsibility to mentor and prepare the people who are coming next to occupy those seats. Situation, if you think that you are a very high-techy person and you are fit to be an IT head, you yourself can answer the question. Do you think, yes, a highly techy head can become a IT head, that's all? Probably not. My feeling is no. That's not the thing. Can any single person or even a single highly technical IT company can meet all your requirements, can deliver all? No, it is not there. Big companies also, they are also dependent on so many other factors and so many other companies also. And so is about the IT head. But at the same time, I am not saying that IT head should not be a techie guy. IT head should have a knowledge of some technical knowledge, but at the same time, the foremost important thing to be an IT head is the analytical part. He should be very clear about how the analysis is to be done, how whenever new project is going to come, how he is going to implement it. So one is about the analytical part. The second is about the business part. He should be very well aware of. The third is, if anything, he should welcome the new technology. If he feels, no, I am comfortable with what I am having, and I am not going to adopt the new technology, I feel that he is not going to be successful. So he should welcome the new technology also, and to the extent possible, he should adopt the new technologies. The other thing important is nowadays, as the technology innovation, as Mr. Jain was talking about, is going on very fast. Okay. Now it is throwing a lot of challenges to IT heads. And the marketing team of various vendors, so-called very highly knowledgeable persons, they are coming, they are marketing to you, and giving such a good picture, bright picture of the things, you adopt, you go for it, and ultimately what you see many times, either the technology is not adoptable or not suitable to you. And the other big challenge today is that these people, I'm sorry to say, because Mr. Jain is here and there may be some other vendors are also there. But what is really happening is the marketing team comes to you and they give a very good picture of the technology. But if you go through that technology vendor itself, they do not have enough knowledge base within themselves. And things does not get implemented. And you are unnecessarily you are wasting a lot of money. So for you, for the IT heads, going for a technology before going for that, they should have a proof of concept also. They should do enough pilot runs and other things. And then once it is, you feel that you are sure about it, that this technology can be implemented in your organizations, yes, you go for it. Not just for the sake of fancy or marketing tips. Friends, this is true, but a lot of things Mr. Jain has covered, like should have a vision. Without vision, nobody can become an IT head. You have to have a vision. Sometimes, if this happen, I take up one very simple example. The top management of a company, they want you to track their marketing force. One simple requirement is there. And they ask the IT head, I want to track my marketing force. I am getting false claims, false emails and other things. How can I do? You provide me the solutions. What you will do? No. And you know that your CEO is always in a hurry. But are you going with that? There are simple solutions also there. There are complex solutions also there. Isn't so? Many people will come to you, Google gives you the facility of this and you need not to go. The other person will go, you should have a GPS phone or some GPS technology there. And the third person will come, you will have a daily progress report kind of thing and he is going to enter. The fourth person will come, you will take a picture of, yes, you have visited a client, take a picture and upload the picture and all those things. Okay. Now one simple way is, if you want to satisfy the CEO, immediately you meet his requirement. But then, it is the responsibility of IT head to see whether this particular device which he is going to implement or recommend for, can it meet so many other requirements also? Can I use these particular devices in meeting many other requirements or to the growth of the organization? So he has to analyze that. And then he has to share, he should have enough confidence within himself. He should be enough, he should be able to face his CEO and tell him, look here, if you are saying yes, it can be met like that. But if you want to achieve this and that, so many other combinations. So probably give me some time and let me analyze the things and then I'll come for solutions and all. So IT head is a very peculiar situation as on today. And with globalization, with so many complex technologies coming into the countries and all, people frequently visiting abroad, they see a lot of things nowadays. And more than that, most of the children of the top executives, they have gone into IT, being the biggest employer. And these children, they get some knowledge which is not full. It's a partial knowledge. They share with their parents, okay, and their parents say, no, what is this? Yes, it can be done like this. So they are more, they show that they are the real IT people. They are more knowledgeable than the ITers. And maybe sometimes, yes. Because they look for a small piece of the things, they do not look for a complete solution point of view. But then IT head should be prepared, or a CIO should be prepared to digest all these things, to take up all these things and coolly deliberate about this and share with the managers. The another piece of a trick I would like to say, and I have been quite successful in this, being a CIO, within my organizations. And believe me, the entire management are having a full faith on us, on the IT. And they always quote IT, इसको IT, they always quote. That यार जो भी कोई नया प्रोजेक्ट लेते हैं, these are the people जो सबसे पहले अपना काम कर देते हैं, बाद में हम लोग पीछे करते हैं. Okay? So, the reason is, and which I believe is, I run IT based on the human values. And I always believe on management on human values or management on involvement. Okay? If you feel that you do not want to upgrade the knowledge of your colleagues, okay? You do not want to bring up thinking that probably your own position will get threatened. You are not going to be successful. These people either they will leave the organizations getting not satisfied, they will withdraw, or they are not going to own the responsibilities and all those things. So kindly think of that if you really want to run IT, because one single person cannot run IT as well today. So many technologies, so much of a demand is there. So unless otherwise you are not going to involve your colleagues, your subordinates in this process of development of IT, development of software, implementations, discussions with the business community and all, probably you are not going to be successful. So the real mantra is, can you get your people also along with you, get them involved right at the project stage and go for it. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Mr. Mittal, for those very sound words of advice. And we'll just open up to questions also. And Mr. Mittal is here, so you can put your questions to him. I don't know, publicly or privately. I think he will welcome both. But before we get to the questions, I'd just like to invite over Mr. SP Arya. He's Group CIO for Amtech Group of Companies. And Mr. Arya has also been associated with the Next 100 since its inception. I'd like him to please come up to the stage and share a few thoughts about the entire Next 100 awards, and what he has found about this year's process, and give some advice on how to be a good CIO. So, Mr. Arya.
Good evening, and a very, very congratulations to you all for winning this award. It's really nice to see this people, young people coming, and young and middle-aged people coming to that table. And I wish you all the best for your future also. And I will not stay on the dais. That's the problem with me. I always want to move. So I will not take much time, but definitely I will answer few of the questions Girdhar asked me, that why I am associated with this Next 100 awards. There's a reason. There's a reason behind it, and that's a genuine reason. A long back, I know there's a very interesting story. I left one organization, did A to Z things over there, and when I left that organization, after 6 months, I found that the guy who just joined this organization 6 months back was given a very prestigious award for all the work I did over there. So that was not sounding very good. Nobody would like, frankly speaking. You did all the work from A to Z, and then somebody else gets the prize award. I wrote an email to that gentleman who was the editor over there and asked few questions. He never replied to my mail. And in private, he agreed that was a mistake. So normally I do not take part in awards. So rather I prefer to be part of a process where we create a process, mature process, and evolve it over a period of time where we can say proudly that the awards are being given genuinely to the right people. That's why I'm associated with this as a jury for the last 4 years. That was my purpose. And then I participate in improving the process, and that's why you might have experienced it's a very strict process. You have given so many tests and then interviews, and finally you are here and won it justifyingly. And let me congratulate you all once again. So that was one. And second question, what was that, Girdhar?
So what did you find about the people you
Yes.
you cleared?
So I have noticed in past 4 years that even the first 2 years, yes, definitely the people came and they were also good. But since the process has been matured, the filtered people are really good. Last year also they were very good, and this year also all the 4 or 5 people whom I interviewed, they were really good, and the difference between their score were very less. They were very, very, good people, and then I was finding quite difficult what to score them at all. But yes, ultimately I had to score. I scored it, but they were running neck to neck. So very good people at all. I was really very, very satisfied with their answers, and normally I don't take interviews, or rather discuss, frankly speaking. I discussed with them and found their discussion really very good at all. They were knowledgeable, and I really felt that they are deserving candidates. That's one thing. Okay. And last question, Girdhar.
I think your advice to people.
Advice. I seldom give my advice at all, but I share my experiences, and I will share with you my experiences. Bittal Saab has given a very sound advice and shared his experience. And I will also say a few things here. Okay. Then, yes, being technology guy is very important, because we are into technology, we need to be. But there's other aspects of the life also. Okay. I stress always upon, very much, on being socializing, networking, and fellowship. Whenever you are there in any event, I don't know how much friend you make, but I make a lot of friends. And believe me, if I counted, I would be having more than 300, 400 CIA friends. And 2 are there here, and most will be, I think, next time onward, you will also be my friends. In my, I can say, list of my friends at all. So when you should always take an opportunity to network with the peer group, and it has helped me immensely. Whenever there is a problem, I can call Muttalji, I can call Vijay also. Vijay is also here, and then we share a lot of experience. Whenever we have a problem, we write a mail or SMS, and then we get 10 answers for any problem. And most of the time, the problems are resolved. It's not that we all are expert in all the fields at all. We somewhere at some point of time get stuck there. So we need to create a network of your peer group where you can discuss with them, meet them, and then share your experiences, gain from them, and give them also. So this is very important aspect, and that's why I'm associated with a forum called CIOs of India, powered by ISMF, and Mittalji, Vijay, everybody, we all 3 are part of it, and then it's around 275 CIOs membership, and all are very seasoned, and like Vijay and Mittalji and others, and we keep on meeting, we keep on interacting with each other, we organize events, we organize family events, we organize cricket cup also, okay, indoor cricket cup also. That's purely for bonding. That's family, not only CIO's bonding, but family bonding also. So you should come out of your zone of own domains and extend, go beyond your domains and meet people, know from them, give them what you learn. That's my bit of advice. You should always network and socialize. And besides socializing, you should not only socialize for or do a fellowship for the technology only, for your knowledge only, but for the society too. You should work something towards society also. Do some social work also. Involve some social work. Do some charities. Do some, I can say, help to the people who needs it. You can associate with yourself with some orphanage, some blind schools, some, I can say, group like Prayas and others, and then do something for those who need you badly. That's somehow, that's close to my heart. This subject I always say to the people, you are young and upcoming, it would be really good. Pastor, please spend some time with those people also. Now, coming to the other things, that was my first point. Second point is, Mittalji told one very good thing at all. You should give enough opportunity and support and encouragement to your colleagues, juniors. Please, that's a very good sentence he told, that when they grow, you should find your slot somewhere else. If you are standing on the step and not going up, you are always in fear that somebody will replace you. But if you are moving away, above the ladder at all, then definitely you will allow others to come up. So please give yourself enough opportunity to grow and give enough opportunity to grow others also. That's very important. And being CIO is a lot of responsibilities, not simply a manager IT or something else. I was telling him that in Indian circumstances, a CIO is a CISO also, is a CTO also. So you have to play a role of some time, all in the three in one role. So CIO, CTO and CISO, all three roles you have to play. So you have to go beyond what you are today. You have to step up, you have to open up your mind, go to everywhere, gain as much as you gain, and that's how you can go up the ladder. Definitely, nowadays, CIO, CTO is, and CISO is not only the domain. So many CIOs are entering into the CEO role also. So you have to prepare yourself. You have to prepare yourself for that role also. Sometime might happen. Okay, it has happened with me. It can happen to you as well. And you should evaluate yourself sometime. My sincere third advice is that you should evaluate, self-evaluation you should do always, very often. Once in a 6 month or once in a year, you should evaluate yourself. Where are you? What you have been aiming at and whether you have achieved it or not. That's very important. Introspection is required. Normally in day-to-day life or busy life, because of technological discussions and organization needs, we forget to evaluate ourselves. And we leave it to others that they should evaluate you at all. But it's better you evaluate yourself first, and then definitely once you evaluate and find weakness, be honest with yourself. If you have the weakness, remove them. Find those out, overcome these, and then definitely when others are going to evaluate you, definitely that evaluation is going to be very, very good at all. So I will not take much time, but that's all I would like to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nair. I think for those really nice words about the program and your association with it. We really enjoy having you on the board and giving sound advice. I would also like to welcome at this point Mr. S. Ramaswamy, Executive Director, IS, Indian Oil Corporation, sitting somewhere at the back. So Mr. Ramaswamy, please come up to the front. Thank you. So please come up. Please come. Please come. Thank you so much for being here this evening.
We are
So-
part of same.
Yes, same club.
Same.
So-
you said.
So I would now like to invite Mr. Vijay Sethi, Vice President Information Systems and CIO, Hero Motorcorp, to the stage. Mr. Sethi has been associated with this program right since inception as well, and we have benefited a lot from his advice, and he always has the time to make for this program, and I'd like him to say a few words about how he's found the program so far.
Thanks, Girish. Time means I don't have any work at office.
So
I get the message. Okay, good evening, everyone, and congratulations to all the 25. Girdhar told me just now that 25 odd winners I have. Congratulations to each one of you. Also, I see a lot of friends out here. It's always a good part of coming here. You tend to meet a lot of friends. I think right from day one, since the time we started this particular thing, as SP Hare also rightly said, the quality of candidates who are coming in for interviews and other discussions, I personally think they have gone hugely good. We say of the 9 or 10 odd candidates, I guess my feedback was, and Girdhar has that feedback, that all 10 of them deserve to be part of this 100 next year. Because I think really good candidates. And I personally think it's because of two reasons. One, as he rightly said, which is that over last 4 years, the screening process, the entire process has matured a lot. But secondly, the credit also goes to all the individuals, because I personally feel that the candidates who are coming, the guys, each one of you, perhaps you are much more aware of what is happening. You are kind of ready for the next level. So it's not just the process which has matured, but also the quality of each one of you has actually improved a lot. My compliments to each one of you for that. Coming back to the next part, when say you become a CIO, maybe tomorrow morning, that could be the earliest, today the offices are closed, or it could be few days, few months, few years, depending on each one of us. So I don't know that part, but to my mind, once you become a CIO, one thing that you need to keep in mind is that you are no longer whatever you used to be. You become tomorrow morning and whatever you're doing today, actually you're no longer used. Then word C comes in front of your designation. The moment you become a member of the C-suite, which is the top level or leadership team of an organization, I think one thing that you need to ensure is that you kind of forget your IT head. As both of them rightly said, that yes, you need to have the technological background. But fundamentally at that time, one thing that you need to keep in mind is that the decisions that you're taking are not because they are IT decisions, because they are business decisions. Because that's what the organization needs. So I will not upgrade from version 1 to version 2 because I feel like that. Because that's a cool thing, because maybe the who is better, maybe whatever is happening, or maybe I move from a .NET to this or whatever to whatever, just because I'm a technical geek and I need to do this. But I need to first look at, does the organization really benefit out of this? Whatever investments I am putting, the benefits will be a period of 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, whatever. But I think each action, then you don't have to first evaluate from a technical aspect, but evaluate more from business ROI, those kind of aspects. If you keep that in mind, 99% of your decisions will be right. Well, 1% of course they could always go wrong, 2% they could go wrong, but I think. And what that leads to is one factor that I personally think, and I'll not repeat what both of them have rightly said. One factor that finally leads to success of any professional, any CIO is a trust that you build with your user and user community, with your organization, with your boss, with your peers, with other members of the organization. And I think that trust doesn't come because someone just likes you. Just because you say good morning to that person 3 times a day, the trust doesn't come those things. And doesn't also come day one. I think people do evaluate each one of us, to me, everyone. And that comes from some of the traits that each one of us has to exhibit. And as you move into C-suite, that would be my personal recommendation there. At least I'll just say 3 traits. Since RIG said 3 things, so let me also just say 3 and not go beyond that. I think the first trait that each one of us has to exhibit at all times is honesty and integrity. Honesty and integrity, I just repeat once again. I think that's the most important. I may be technically sound, I may not be technically sound. I may deliver projects, I may not deliver projects. But if I'm not honest or I have lack of integrity, chances are that I'll never rise. Chances are that very soon I'll be asked to move on. Or I'll be parked in some corner of the organization. So that's the first thing, and that has nothing to do with IT, that's nothing to do with technology, but I think to my mind, that comes from each one of us' individual value systems. And as you rise in an organization, I think that becomes more and more and more important, because it's not just your seniors you are watching, but also your teams. And if sometimes they feel that this guy is kind of gully-baj and he does all these things, next time they'll do 20 more things which you will never come to. And what happens to the organization? God bless us. So I think that's very, very important that we need to do. The second is keeping our promises, which is that the trust comes from the fact that if I promise you something that, okay, this thing will be done by this date or delivered by this, or if I tell Giridhar that I'll join for this session today, and maybe 10 minutes before joining I send him an SMS saying that, okay, I'm stuck in traffic and can't reach, and I do that next time and third time. Fourth time, even if I tell him that I'm reaching, he'll know that this guy will not come. So, keeping our promise, what we promise to our organizations, that's very important. The third, and these are all simple, there is nothing to do with technology. The third thing that I'll say is, even if you become a CIO, CEO, as we have a couple of other guys over here, or maybe chairman or owner of organizations, whatever, I think never stop learning. Just because one is a CIO, one thinks that one is maybe the best thing to happen to this world or to the organization, it actually, in reality, is not. I think each one of us, and I think that Mithal also rightly said, that one should take each opportunity to learn and never think that, no, since I know everything and rest everybody is an idiot in this world. I don't think that's reality. So the learning cannot never stop. So to my mind, if we just keep these 3 very, very simple things, prima facie they look so simple that each one of us, when actually looks at them, says that yes, kya bol rahe hai? Understood, this is so natural. But when we go back and try to implement each one of them in our day-to-day life, on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, on a minute-to-minute basis, it's not easy many times. So we need to keep that in mind. So I'll just say that I wish you all the best. Congratulations to each one of you. I also wish that maybe you become CIOs tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sethi. And jokes apart, Mr. Sethi works really hard, and he also makes a lot of time for all these activities. So thank you so much. And
I patted myself that I work hard.
no, we can also all pat you. So I'd also like to invite Mr. Ramaswamy now onto the stage, to share his thoughts about, the next 100 and, about the people he interviewed this year. So this will be the first year you'll be associated as a jury member with this exercise. So, he probably brings a slightly different perspective from all other people. So we'd like to have a few words from you, sir, and some words of advice on, how to become a good CIO.
Good evening, everyone. My senior colleagues, Mr. Mithal, Mr. Sethi, Mr. Arya, and all young participants. It's really an opportunity for me to be a part of this process. I'm really amazed the way the entire process has been charted out, formed up, given the clear directions, gave me a lot of scope for typical modulation and moderations. I was really happy to be associated with that, being the first year of my interaction with this entire process. As my colleagues have rightly said, that as a large number of participants comes, naturally we look how to filter it. We really go into more of business initiatives, business acumen more than the technology things, which I give a little bit weightage on them. We are very happy with the quality of the entire process. Not only the interview, I want to each and every traits and the characteristics which have been put. The weightage was really amazing. I think every one of you deserve to be the right now CIO rather than tomorrow's CIO. I'm extremely happy to be associated with that. Coming to what we really look for, the thing was rightly said that one thing is clear: when you become CIO, you all very well know that if you happen to be CIO, Chief Information Officer, it is going to be really CIO. Your career is over. What we really need to look for that is something more than the transformation, something like the CIO is the Chief Innovative Officers, which really brings, especially if you look at the Indians' way of working today, more or less everyone go for the same technology, same process. What is going to differentiate our life is going to be the innovations. I'm sure you will be going to give more concentration and focus on your activities, how will you bring the differentiations to bring the value to the business, value to the task you are going to take. The third part of CIO is the Chief Intervention Officer. Especially when you go into the main projects, more than technology, what is really going to matter is how you are going to intervene and how is going to become the major change manager of your organizations. I'm sure that when you look into, because already when you come to this stage, you are becoming already role of Chief Technology Officers or the Chief Information Security Officers or the Chief Digital Officers or Chief Data Scientist. So what is really going to be the testing ground is your ability to convince, ability to change the process the way you want to be done. I'm sure absolutely you are going to shine. We are very happy to be associated with this. Thanks for giving an opportunity to be a part of your team, and congratulate to each and every one of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Ramaswamy. It's a pleasure to have you as part of the team, to find the future CIOs of India. So, we are really coming to the end of our formal, or let's say semi-formal program for today. And I'd like to I know some of you have questions about the process. Does anybody have any questions about the process, which I can take? Yes, sir. How many people were there? Yes?
People wrote the test, how many people were interviewed, and finally how many you filtered?
Yeah, so let me start with the first question. So how many people applied for the program? So the program actually has multiples. So the program has multiple stages, right? So in the initial stage, about 1,800 people actually registered to begin with, 1,800 plus people. But ultimately, because the entire application is pretty long and you need to provide all kinds of details, only about 600 people provided the complete information. And out of that, about 400 people or so took all the tests and everything. So literally there were 400 people who completed all the tests and all those things. From the 400, we shortlisted about 170 people or so for the interviews. And these were the people who were interviewed. And out of that, 100 people were selected. So it doesn't mean that the other 70 people were bad. It just means that, the quality of the people was so good that it was really hard. And as the jury members have said, it was even among the people we said, they had a hard time deciding, who to select and who to leave out. And I think the question was also raised in some of the meetings, can we increase this? Can we get more people in? And I think the original program was designed to have 100 people every year. So all we can say is, those who got left out were only because the competition has just become so much harder. That's it. So that's why, when I started this whole program, I said you can count yourself really among the elite, because the 101st person was not bad. The 101st person was also very good. And it was just that we have a limit of 100, so that's all we can accommodate. So that's really about how the selection process went through. So will there be more people next year? Most definitely. There will not only be more, but probably the quality of the people will continue to be very good. And it will become, the bar will just keep going up. This is all I can say.
Is there any ranking?
Strictly speaking, yes, but will we tell you the ranking? No, because we destroy everything. So that's the, so as far as we are concerned, all the 100 people are equal once you are the next 100. There's nothing to say there's a first and there's a 100. There's no such thing. Everybody is equal at that point. And the differences are, you know, in the decimal points. I mean, it is not even like, the scoring model is fairly elaborate, and as you will discover after you talk to, you know, a lot of your peers, that you will see you are all very similar. There's not that much difference. So, so that's all I can say about it. I'll be honest, and I would I'd say that, you know, it was very hard this year, much harder than we've had. The next year we might have to make the model even more robust to account for this. It's a challenge. I mean, like he mentioned, you know, the 200 plus factors in Ravinder's model. Our model doesn't have 200, but you can be sure it has close to 60 factors. So it's quite high already. Any other question? I mean, I can take some questions later if you want. I mean, since this is
Can you throw some light on the scoring model very briefly?
Okay, I could. So the scoring model takes into account some personal factors, some professional things. So personal factors would be, you know, things about what qualifications you have, how many years of experience, how big is the team that you handle, how many, what is the size of the organization you work for, which is a proxy for the complexity of the job. A large portion depends upon how the interviewers rate you, what did your bosses and your referees say about you. So all that actually accounts for a significant part of the thing. And of course the test that you took, that also goes into the score. So it's a weighted model and it takes into account all these things. So therefore that's why it becomes fairly complex. You know, even the interviewing that is done by the jury itself is rates people on a large number of factors, and then it's factored into the model. So the jury spent a lot of time over this, you know, figuring out what's the right model to apply, and you know, we have to thank them for a lot of work that they did. You know, there's a lot of debates. It's very, we have 51 jury members this year. It's very hard to get 50 people to agree on something. So there's robust debate, and at the end of it, you know, people who've been with us from year one will tell you that, you know, there's a lot of argument every year about, you know, whether this is the right model, and so finally they agree that this is probably the best model that can exist for now. Will we continue to refine it? Yes, we will, with their advice, and you know, as people bring new insights and as we go through the process. But it is a complex model at the moment. So it doesn't take into account any one factor. It's about as good as, you know, what you would, probably it's tougher than what you would do for an employment, is all I can say at this point. Okay, so let me get on with the good part of the job, which is actually giving you these formal letters that say that you've been selected for the next 100 award. It also has some details about the logistics and, you know, where the award will be and, you know, what will happen next. And of course, I would like to invite all of you to be at the next 100 award ceremony. This is on 14th and 15th December. It will be in Pune, and my colleagues will be in touch with you to make the travel arrangements. The reason for doing this formal letter is that many people need this letter to apply within their organizations for permissions to go for this award and actually accept it. And so that's why we are doing this. So without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Ramaswamy to hand over the first letter to Mr. Alok Mathur, the Senior Manager, DSCR Sugar. So could you just hand over this action also? Mr. Sanjay Chopra, GM IT, Maya India Limited. Thank you, sir. I'd like to invite Mr. Ravinder Singh to please give out this letter to Mr. Apurva Kumar of GlaxoSmithKline Consumer Healthcare. If we just stay on a moment. The next one is for Mr. Daljit Soni from Aviva India Limited. Mr. Daljit Soni. Mr. Manish Kapoor, Assistant Director IT, MTS India Limited. Thank you, Professor. May I invite Mr. Vijay Sethi to give out letters. Mr. Yogesh Mishra, Head MIS in PI, Sistema Sham Tele Services. Mr. Lalit Kumar, Senior Manager IT, JVM Group. Mr. Samir Chaudhary, General Manager IT, DFM Foods. I'd like to invite Mr. S.P. Arya. Please give out this letter. Mr. Arun Goyal, Assistant Director, Sistema Sham Tele Services. Mr. Arvind Yadav, GM IT, LT Foods. Mr. Manoj Moni, Vice President, Kotak Mahindra Bank. Mr. Anil Malhotra, Minda Industries Limited. Thank you, Mr. Arya. May I like to invite Mr. S.C. Mittal to please give out some of the letters to Mr. Abhishek Singh from Fair Portal India Company. Mr. Arup Manik from East India Hotels Limited. Mr. Vinayak Pradhan, Samsung Data Systems.
Wrong handshake.
Mr. Gaurav Jaggi, Gates India Private Limited. Mr. Sanjay Singh, Sir Gangaram Hospital. With Guinea International.
Take care of all people.
Now, his ability changes his organization, so he's already got promoted, I guess. Wonderful, congratulations. Mr. Sanjay Singh, GM Technology, Quattro Global Services. Mr. Rajiv Nandwani, Vice President IT, Tata Communications Limited. Mr. R.P. Dutt, VP Technologies, Quattro Global Services. Sorry. Oh, we have lots. Mr. Vikas Jain, Ernst & Young. Mr. Niaz Mohammad Riaz, LG CNS India. Mr. Vinod Singh, Senior Manager, Ericsson. Thank you, Arya sir. If we have Mr. Ramaswamy, please come. Mr. Rajesh Chegan, DGMIT, Minda Industries. Mr. Tirumala Rao, AGMIT, L&T, MHI Boilers. Mr. Rajesh Karir, Group Manager, E-Value Server. So thank you, Mr. Ramaswamy. And to do the honors, Mr. Vijay Sethi, I'll have to ask him to walk up again. So Mr. Prem Rajpal, System Director, Systema Sham Teleservices. Mr. Ajit Kumar Saxena, Joint General Manager, IFCO, Gujarat. So he's come from Thank you. So is there anyone who's not received the letter? Yes. Okay, there are two gentlemen in the back. So we'll get your letters. Just give us a moment. Sorry, I think we've got the letters for everybody, so don't worry. Just give us 2 minutes. So meanwhile, if anybody had any questions for our CIOs, they can take them. So, they all gave lots of pieces of advice, but, the one question often people have is, how do I convince my CEO to fund this project or that? So everybody knows the answer to that now. No. Then you should ask these people who successfully get a lot of funding. Mr. Ramaswamy, may I ask you to do the honors. Mr. Sashi Bhushan Vyas, Usha International Limited. Thank you, sir. So thank you everybody for being here this evening, and we will adjourn after this for cocktails and dinner. The dinner is served outside, the cocktails are here, and if you have questions, all of us are here, we can answer them. Please feel free to interact with our CIOs, and as they've all recommended, that networking is one of the best ways of getting ahead in life. So please, we want you to get ahead in life, and we expect to see all of you on 14th December in Pune. So my colleagues will be in touch with you to make the arrangements, and you can let them know if you have any challenges. So we will try to see how we can accommodate. We'd love to see all of you there. My invitation also to all our jury members. Please block your calendars. We expect to see all of you on 14th December in Pune. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful evening.
फोन बज जा रहा है।